Texas Rangers vs Houston Astros. Ronald Blanco is expected to start the finale in Houston on Sunday afternoon. Blanco allowed 2 runs on 4 hits and a walk while striking out 7 over 7 innings to earn the win over the Marlins earlier this week. Blanco gave up multiple home runs for the second time in 3 starts, but he has been dominant this season. The 30-year-old continues to enjoy a breakout season with a 2.53 ERA, 0.99 WHIP, and 95/40 KB across 103 innings through 17 starts. He is approaching his previous career high mark for innings pitched as he crossed the century mark in last week's game. Houston may opt to limit his production in this final tune-up before the break, but he will do enough to win. Houston has won 16 of their last 20 games. Take Houston to win. The Astros are on a warpath after a rough opening to the season. Heading into the second game of this series, they have won 10 straight home games in 10 of 13 facing American League opponents. Both clubs deliver runs when these division rivals face one another. Over their last 10 games against each other, both clubs are averaging well over 5 runs per game. Texas has not announced a starter, but it could be a John Gray bullpen platoon game. He has not been sharp lately, and the Astros can deliver a big number against the veteran. The total has gone over in 10 of Houston's last 14 games. Take the over. Washington Nationals vs Milwaukee Brewers. Washington stayed hot as they tallied 6 runs on 12 hits in Game 2. The Nationals had 4 players who logged multiple hits at the plate. Both C.J. Abrams and Luis Garcia Jr. launched home runs. Abrams' homer came in the top of the 9th and gave the Nats the go-ahead run. It was largely a bullpen game with Mitchell Parker getting the start. He went for 0.2 innings and allowed 5 runs on 3 hits while striking out 2. Milwaukee jumped out to an early lead, scoring all 5 of their runs in the bottom of the first. The Brewers ended the day with 6 hits with no players logging multiple hits at the plate. Rhys Hoskins and Eric Hayes each had 2 RBIs. Dallas Keuchel got the start, and over 3 innings he allowed 3 runs on 8 hits and struck out 2. Despite seeing their batting average decline in the first half of July, Milwaukee has hit the ball best both at home and in afternoon games this season. Meanwhile, Washington has struggled to see the ball, and their impatience at the plate could make it more difficult for them to drive runs home. Rie has tossed well this season and has just logged 1 loss in daytime affairs. Look for him to give the bats some breathing room here. Take Milwaukee moneyline. Both of these pitchers have tossed their best in afternoon games, and we are seeing the offenses dealing with some headwinds of late. Ria has just 1 daytime loss this season, and Irvin is holding foes to around .180 at the plate in afternoon affairs. Both of these clubs sit bottom 10 in runners left in scoring position. Look for both hurlers to keep pressure on the offenses here, and for plate disparity to ultimately leave runs off the board. Take under 8.5 runs. Now, before we continue, I would like to welcome you to High Stakes. My name is Brian. I'd like to ask your support. First, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so you never miss any of our daily betting videos. Second, if you find this video helpful, please give it a like. It really helps us reach more viewers. Now, before we dive in, for those interested in more premium betting tips and predictions, if our guidance has helped you win bets and increase your revenue, we would appreciate your support in growing this channel. Your assistance is vital in strengthening our presence on YouTube. Therefore, feel free to explore our Patreon tiers. You will find the link in the description and comment section below. Thank you. Chicago Cubs vs Cardinals. Chicago is 46-51 overall this season. The Cubs are in last place in the National League Central Division. They're 8.5 games back of the Brewers for first place in the division. The Cubs are also 4.5 games back of the Mets for a wild card spot. Chicago has won 7 of their last 10 games coming into Sunday. The Cardinals are in second place in the National League Central Division. They are 3.5 games back of the Brewers for first place in the division. The Cardinals have won 4 of their last 7 games coming into Sunday. The Cubs are coming off of losing both games of a doubleheader to the Cardinals on Saturday. But they will bounce back with a win on Sunday. The Cubs have won 7 of their last 10 games as they are in form. They are facing St. Louis Miles Mikolas, who has an ERA of 6.18 when playing at home. The Cubs will get after Mikolas early with their batting average of .274 in month of July. Chicago will also be starting Jameson Taillon, who has a road ERA 3.07. He will do enough to shut down the Cardinals and deliver his team a win. Take Chicago Cubs minus 1.5 runs. The Cardinals are hitting .243 this season, which places them 17th. They have scored the 6th fewest amount of runs, and they rank 16th in total hits. The Cardinals have also hit the 6th fewest amount of home runs. St. Lewis is hitting .244 when they play at home. They are playing well this month with a batting average of .277 in 10 games played in July. St. Lewis is batting .244 against the National League Central Division. They are also hitting .246 against the Cubs this year. On Sunday, the Cubs will start Jameson Taillon. The right-handed pitcher is 6'4" this season with an ERA of 2.99. He has started 15 games this season, with his last game against the Orioles on July 9th. He threw 6 innings and he gave up 2 runs and 4 hits in the win. He came away with 7 strikeouts in the game against Baltimore. Baltimore is 8-7 when Taillon has started this season. They are also 2-5 when he pitches on the road. Taillon has a road ERA of 3.07 and an ERA of 2.59 when pitching during the day. In 6 starts, Taillon has an ERA of 3.67 against the National League Central Division. The Cubs are hitting .234 this season, which ranks 8th worst. Chicago has scored the 18th most runs and they have secured the 8th most hits. The Cubs have also hit the 7th fewest amount of home runs. They have also struck out the 7th most times. The Cubs are hitting .236 when they have played on the road. In July, the Cubs have been hitting it better with an average of .274. Chicago is also hitting .245 when they have played the Cardinals. The Cardinals will start Miles Mikolas on Sunday, and his ERA has not been great at home this season. He has a home ERA of 6.18, and the Cubs will be able to capitalize and push runs across the board. The Cubs will also be starting Jameson Taillon, who has a 3.67 ERA against divisional foes. These pitchers will allow many opportunities for their opposing batters to get extra base hits and home runs. This should be a high-scoring game between the two rivals. Take the over 8.5 runs on Sunday. Minnesota Twins vs San Francisco Giants. Minnesota has lost 2 of their previous 3 games, including a 7-1 defeat to the Giants in San Francisco on Friday. Starter Joe Ryan was saddled with his 6th loss of the season, but did record his 500th career strikeout. He went 5.1 innings and allowed 5 earned runs on 6 hits and 3 walks. The Twins found themselves down 3-0 in the 2nd inning and could not mount a comeback. Brian Buxton, Ryan Jeffers, and Trevor Larnach each had 2 hits in the loss. Second baseman Willie Castro knocked in Minnesota's lone run on a groundout in the 6th inning. The Twins' offense has struggled this week, scoring 3 runs or less in 4 of their previous 5 contests. The Giants had lost 4 of their last 5 games prior to beating the Twins at home 7-1 in the first game of their series on Friday night. Left fielder Michael Conforto doubled and drove in 2 in the win. Center fielder Heliot Ramos had 2 hits to raise his batting average to .304. Starter Kyle Harrison won his 5th game of 2024 by going 5 innings and allowing 1 earned run on 5 hits while striking out 3 batters. San Francisco's relief corps pitched 3.2 scoreless innings to preserve the victory. The Giants' pitching staff has stumbled this week, allowing 5 runs or more in 4 of their previous 6 contests. In his career, Snell has struggled versus the Twins, producing an ERA just under 6 and losing 2 of his 3 prior starts. The Twins have come out on top in 4 of their previous 6 games against the Giants. During their 3-game series last season, the Twins produced a 3.00 ERA versus San Francisco hitters. Minnesota has excelled playing away from their home stadium recently, winning their 4 previous road series. The Twins have won at a 53.1% clip on the road in 2024. Giants hurlers have struggled most of the season, ranking 25th in the league in ERA. They have produced a higher ERA at home than on the road, so look for Minnesota to have ample opportunity to score throughout the contest. The Twins have a significant advantage on offense in this matchup, ranking 3rd in the majors in slugging percentage versus 16th for their opponent. San Francisco has had difficulty making contact with the ball at Chase Field this season, ranking 6th in the league in strikeouts. The Giants are under .500 against the spread on the season. Paddock has generated a 4.18 ERA and 1.35 WHIP in 5 starts at Chase Field and has failed to win in his prior 3 starts there. The stats and trends strongly support a Minnesota victory on the road Sunday. Take the Twins. Paddock has produced a 3.82 ERA over 30.2 innings pitched against the Giants. All the games played between these 2 squads last season went under the run total, with only 20 runners crossing the plate during the 3-game set. Twins hurlers have been effective during day games, ranking 6th in the league in ERA with 3.60. The Twins have an elite offense, while playing in front of the home crowd ranks 2nd in the league in batting average, but struggle to hit during road games, ranking in the bottom half of the league in multiple categories. The Twins have gone under the run total in 3 of their previous 5 road games, scoring 3 runs or less in 3 straight. Minnesota batters have hit just .206, with a .326 slugging percentage in their prior 3 games on the road. The Giants' pitching staff limited the Twins' offense to 1 run in the first game of their current series. Most signs point to a lower-scoring affair in the final game prior to the All-Star break on Sunday. Take the under.